Fermented foods, sauerkraut. In this video, we will learn about the characteristic, history, processing, and quality control of the sauerkraut. The first topic is about sauerkraut characteristic. It tastes sour and pickle-like due to the fermentation of lactic acid bacteria. Its salty and juicy taste comes from salt that used as ingredients to make the optimum condition for fermentation. The second topic is about the history of sauerkraut. Up to 200 years ago, fermented cabbage that fermented with rice wine is mentioned in China. 100 years later, the fermented cabbage is introduced to Europe by Genghis Khan. Due to the lack of rice in Europe, they ended up fermented cabbage with salt. Processing step of sauerkraut. Selection of cabbage head. Cabbage heads cleaning. Outer leaves and central core removal. Cabbage shredding and salting. Fermentation process. Packaging with the method of pasteurization and storage.
Processing step for sauerkraut production. First is selection of cabbage head. The criteria for cabbage head selection are disease-free, mature, firm, and come from mid to late season as it will ferment well. Second is clean the cabbage. When making the sauerkraut, it is necessary to remove the outer leaf, and if you are the type of person to wash their veggies, then it's suggested to rinse the cabbage with running water. The third step are shredding and salting. The addition of salt is necessary for the development of anaerobic condition during fermentation and for inhibiting the growth of spoilage microorganisms and to activate it, the endogenous pectinolytic enzyme responsible for cabbage softening. The next step is fermentation. Generally, sauerkraut is produced by spontaneous fermentation, but to enhance the quality and uniformity of the product, statoculture are added. For spontaneous fermentation, the fermentation process relies on the population of lactic acid bacteria. Leuconostoc mesenteroides dominate the microbiota at the beginning of fermentation since it possesses less acid tolerant and microaerophilic properties and has shorter generation time than other lactic acid bacteria over the temperature of 20 degrees Celsius and sodium chloride concentration up to 5%. Lactobacillus plantarum and Lactobacillus brevis are the microbiota dominate the last stage of fermentation as it is possess more acid tolerance. For induced fermentation, statoculture are used to minimize the variation of quality and to ensure the uniformity of the product. The selection criteria must be related to the adaptation of the strain to cabbage material, as well as the tolerance of the strain to low pH value and high salt concentration. Moreover, rapid growth and the production of acid caused by rapid acidification of sauerkraut are also important criteria to be considered for the statoculture selection. Heterofermentative metabolism and the synthesis of antimicrobial compounds are important features expected in the statoculture. Nicene-resistant Leuconostoc mesenteroides strain or in combination with nicene-producing Lactococcus strain have been applied for cabbage fermentation to inhibit the growth of naturally present LAB, thus improving the uniformity of sauerkraut quality. Mixed statoculture containing Leuconostoc mesenteroides and Pediococcus dextrinicus have been reported to give beneficial phytochemical for sauerkraut production. Application of Lactobacillus aciculture have been reported to give antimicrobial activity and concentration of bioactive compound 2 to 3 times higher than in sauerkraut production using another statoculture. After fermentation, sauerkraut is packaged in metal cans or glass jars, and it is consumed as a fresh product or it is pasteurized to extend its shelf life.
To find out more about how sauerkraut is made, let's take a look at the following video.
The Pickle Company originates back to Germany. My great-great-grandfather, 1896 or so. My father left Germany because it was East Germany, it was communist, and the wall came up and they took our factory away. And he wanted his own factory. In 1961, we emigrated to the United States and ended up in Los Angeles. A lot of these products are a little bit old school. They're meant for the shelf. They're not refrigerated, but you know what? You can keep it on your shelf without refrigeration, and 6 months into it, you open it up, and it tastes delicious, tastes fresh. Well, there's two ways to acidify these type of products. Either you do it with vinegar and acid to bring the pH down, or you ferment it. There are ways to ferment all food products. A million different ways of making pickle. I like all kinds of pickles. I just don't want the same pickle every day.
So now we will talk about the quality control in the production process of sauerkraut. First, we will talk about the raw material and then processing conditions and the final product quality control of sauerkraut production. First is raw material quality control. Sauerkraut usually made from cabbage. The selection of cabbage based on their quality must be considered because it can affect the quality of sauerkraut. The cabbage must be fresh and free from any damage. For sauerkraut production, fresh cabbage heads are trimmed off outer leaf and their central cores are removed. Cabbage is shredded to 1.7 until 2 mm thick strip and salt with 1.7 until 2.5% of sodium chloride. The addition of salt is necessary for the development of anaerobic condition during fermentation and for inhibiting the growth of spoilage microorganisms and activity of endogenous pectinolytic enzyme responsible for cabbage softening. Next is processing conditions or control of fermentation. Sauerkraut is usually produced by fermentation of lactic acid bacteria.
To stimulate the growth of desirable microorganisms for the fermentation, there are some factors and aspects that must be controlled or altered to ensure that desired microorganisms grow while spoilage microorganisms are inhibited. First, low concentration of oxygen, pH, temperature, inhibitor, addition of salt, and time. Low concentration of oxygen. Fermentation of sauerkraut is an anaerobic process. Lactic acid bacteria are microaerophilic or facultative anaerobic bacteria that grow in reduced amount of oxygen. So, by controlling the amount of free oxygen can allow only desired bacteria to grow. Reducing oxygen can ensure that the cabbage is fermented by lactic acid bacteria. Generally, pH is not controlled except for special purpose as the environment becomes more acidic due to the production of lactic acid by lactic acid bacteria during fermentation. However, pH-controlled fermentation offers microbiological stability during storage period of 12 months at 24 degrees Celsius. And having the right pH will ensure the product to have a good shelf life because most spoilage microorganisms cannot survive in an acidic or alcoholic environment. The range of temperature required for sauerkraut processing or fermentation is 15 to 20 degrees Celsius. The optimum temperature for lactic acid bacteria to grow is 20 degrees Celsius, and this temperature is also the most desirable to initiate the fermentation of sauerkraut. Fourth, bacteriocins are substances synthesized by lactobacillus strains which are used to inhibit lactobacilli from over-ripening the cabbage, but it doesn't prevent the growth of spoilage microorganisms during the fermentation process. 5. Addition of salt. Salt helps fluid to be released from the shredded cabbage, creating an anaerobic condition. Salt will favor the growth of lactic acid bacteria and prevent the growth of spoilage microorganisms. Concentration of salt added affects the type of microbial population and the sensory quality of sauerkraut. Heterofermentative lactic acid bacteria favor a low salt concentration of about 1% and cannot grow well in a concentration of 3%. Homofermentative lactic acid bacteria prefer higher salt concentration, which helps accelerate fermentation. Salt content below 0.8% result in soft sauerkraut, which is the result of undesirable fermentation. And using too little salt not only softens the sauerkraut, but also yields a product lacking in flavor. And the last time, fermentation of sauerkraut are between 1 until 6 weeks or several months under anaerobic condition and optimum temperature. Final product quality control. Fully fermented sauerkraut is packaged in metal cans or glass jars, and it is consumed as fresh product or it is pasteurized to extend its shelf life. Commercial sauerkraut is generally pasteurized and then packaged in a brine of extremely salty water. Pasteurized commercial sauerkraut is plentiful in nutrients and is healthy food when properly rinsed and prepared. The best way to prepare commercial sauerkraut is to rinse well under running water while squeezing out the brine.